Good morning, Kevin Rabbit, Shrimp Stories. I want to finish the story about what happened with Romeo's boat over there at the T-Heads in Corpus Christi. Uh, at that time, I was living in Portland, and I was sitting in the living room watching the news, and it came out on the news that boat had sunk in the T-Heads there in Corpus Christi. And I recognized the boat. That was Romeo, a friend of ours. And Romeo was a good guy, man. A lot of people loved that guy. But the thing about it here in the T heads, all the people come to the T heads to buy shrimp and stuff like that. So you have a lot of friends that come around. But anyway, when I seen it, I went over there. I got on my car and on my truck, and I went over there to Corpus Christi to the T heads, and his wife was there. Romeo had gotten locked up. They locked him up because he was drinking when that happened. I guess what happened that when he was he he puts the boat on a turn, and like that the net swings over because he had just picked up, and the net is on behind the boat, so he's turning so he can pick up the net on the side of the boat. He's got to pull it on by yourself, and he was out there by himself. But he was picking up the net, and I guess the chain of the steering had jumped, and the boat went straight. Instead of going around in a circle, it didn't go around. It went straight, and he didn't pay attention. He was going straight at the bullheads, and it hit the bullheads, and it hit and bounced right off. It bounced right off of the bullhead, but it put a big old hole right on the water line of the bow of the boat. So when it bounced off of there and it made a half a turn like that, the boat went down, man. It filled up with water quick, and he ran in when he seen, and when he was running into the cabin to try to straighten out, the boat was going down. It caught him inside the cabin, man. So this guy, when the boat went down, he came out the window of the boat, and that's when I guess the Coast Guard or whoever was it, the port authority there to picked him up, and anyway they locked him up. So see, the next day in the morning he called me if I could help him because he didn't know what to do. The boat was sunk, and in the middle of the harbor there in Corpus Christi in the T heads. At that time, they hadn't built those extra docks they have there. You know where Landry's restaurant is at in the T heads, and now they build uh, a bunch of new docks around there. At that time, none of that was there. It was all open right there, and it up to the T head, to Landry's and the T head right there. And it didn't have all those new docks it's got there now. But anyway, that's where the boat was sunk at right there. So I said, well, yeah, I'll help you because Romeo's the one that helped me to find that guy to let me borrow the money to haul out that boat. So I helped him. I went to Aransas and I got my boat ready, the Captain Rabbit, and I took it to Corpus Christi. And I took it down the channel and we went to Corpus Christi. And I went and tied up at the T heads at Landry's, where Landry's restaurant is at. And right beside it, and you'll see a space there that it's got some pilings right there that we could tie up right there. That's where I tied up the Captain Rabbit right there. And when I got there, all the port authority there, the T heads, they were there, and they seen me and they asked me, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Well, I'm here to help this guy try to get this boat out of there, man. It's on the bottom. Had a sunk boat in the harbor." And they asked me, "You think you can do it?" And yeah. I said, "Yes, I know I can help him, man, but it's up to y'all." And they told me that as long as there ain't nobody hurt, and they don't want to be responsible to anything that happens. And so, and that's what we said. So we started, but he had Romeo had a lot of friends. That guy named Danny, he works the T heads there all the time, but he's a certified diver. And there was another guy there that was a certified diver. You have to be certified divers to let the marina get in the water. But anyway, so what we did is just we got those divers to take my anchor line from the boat, take my anchor line and take it over there to where the boat was at and tie it to that boat where I could pull it. I drug that boat from underwater. I drug the boat with my boat. It was the cat had the winch. We put the winch on it and we drug that boat underwater all the way to the side of the boat where I was at. It was sunk. It wasn't in water, and, and that's how we got it close to us. And then once the boat was up here beside mine, uh, I disconnected the bridles to that one side to my rigs, and I used the bridles and I tied them. I tied them to the bow of that boat. But I had to put some lines on the whip line because the boat was laying sideways. The rigging was down. Everything was sideways. So I had to put some whip lines to pick up the boat and straighten it out. Straighten out the boat for the rigging be up instead of down sideways. So once we got that and I put the bridle to the bow of the boat, we started putting pressure on it, and what we did, I got those divers to seal all of the cracks, and that's what you got to do. You got to seal all the cracks or anything like that that'll leak around. And what I had it up a little bit where already the top of the cabin was up a little bit and stuff like that, where we could, and we had two 3-inch pumps, two of them. And we got them in there where we could stick them in through the windows, and that's how we did it, man. We put the two of them, 3-inch pumps, and we were pumping out the boat, and at the same time using the winch to pick up the bow of the boat, picking up the bow of the boat when the pressure, and finally after a while, it was coming up, and picking up the winch and picking up the winch. As soon as we pump out as much and pick it up some more, and finally I had it hanging the bow, and hell, it took all afternoon, man. I think it was late when we finished there. We finally had it hanging up. It was pretty close to about 10, 11 o'clock at night when we had it up and already pumped out and hanging off the rigging of the boat, and where you could see that big old hole on the bow of the boat where it had hit the wall. And that's the time that I helped him. And all the people there from Corpus Christi, Jane from the Tea Heads, and all of them, they were all there bringing in food and all of that. They were helping, man. And everybody wanted to help Romeo, man. We were there in Corpus Christi at that time when we did. And I really enjoyed doing something like that when you're helping a friend out and you see all these other people, kids, they're there to help you, man, whatever they can do, so they were there. And so we had plenty of help. And the next day in the morning, they bring the a little boat from the marina that has the shipyard there, that has the lift. They pick up the boats, and they came and got the boat, drop it back down. We had already put some plastic and a big old pillows and stuff and plugged up that hole and taped it down, and where they could put it back in the water, and they drug it around to the other T head over there where they have to lift to pick up the boat. And that's what we did. And so they took the boat out. But what happened to the Captain Rabbit, tied up right there at the Landry's, I was already getting ready to back up and get out of there to go take it back to Aransas. And when I was backing up, it hit. Something hit, man. And when I was backing up, something hit the wheel. The wheel hit something, and I said, "Damn, there's something. There was still something in the water or something. And I might have something that I picked up, some chain or something that came off that boat or something, you know." And I couldn't kill the vibration. I couldn't speed up. I had to drive it all the way back to Aransas at 7 or 8 RPM. I couldn't pick up the 10 RPM or 12 RPM because it would vibrate bad. So I had to go real slow until I got back into Aransas, man. And when I got back into Aransas, it was Tony Galindo that he was a certified diver, and he went over there and got in my boat to go see what was going on. And and sure enough, when he came out of there, he told me, "Man, you know what? Every prop, the propeller, all the leaves of the propeller were wrapped up like tacos." The damn propeller was all messed up, and I guess I hit what it was, a sunken piling. I I was on top of a sunken piling right there where I was tied up at, and when I backed up, it hit it, and that what later on that next day I took Tony to go to Corpus Christi right there where the boat was tied up at beside Landry, and go in the water, and sure enough he found that damn sunken piling. It's there, and that's what hit that damn propeller, man. So man, that put me out of commission big time. I mean, I couldn't do nothing. I was out of money. I had just fixed the transmission. I had just hauled out the boat again, and I couldn't do nothing, man. So I got screwed big time at that time. And that boat sat like that for about 3 months or 4 months. When finally there was a guy that came from Roma, Texas, came over here looking for a boat, and he was interested because he was into that buying shrimp and selling shrimp, and he would always come and buy shrimp from us, and well, that was the first time I met that guy, a guy named Cesar. But anyway, uh, and that's how we fixed that boat, man. He made a deal with him. I wanted 50,000 for the boat, and but I told him, you know what? You pay for whatever it takes uh, to get the boat going. You know, we haul out and change that propeller, and you pay for everything what it's going to cost you, and you deduct it from that 50,000, whatever's left. That's what you're going to pay me. And so he liked it. So he agreed. He agreed to it. So that's how we got the boat fixed. We hauled out. Well, if you remember, I've been telling you that when I came out of the shipyard, and the last time that I hauled out to change the shaft on it, and I still couldn't kill the vibration, and that's when I finished that trip and brought it to Aransas, and it had a vibration. The transmission was already slipping, and I couldn't find why the vibration. Well, I come to find out when we hauled out, that damn shaft, that new shaft that shipyard in Palacios had put in there, had been, it was about 6 to 7 inches too long. That damn propeller was sticking out of the shaft log about 7, 8 inches. And that's what was causing the damn vibration, man. So that shaft has to be pulled out and cut down. And I got lucky, and there was a friend of ours here from Aransas that had a propeller, and I got lucky, and I found one for $200. But anyway, that's what cost. We got it off. We finally got it all straightened out where we got the boat back, and I started shrimping on it, and Cecil paid me, and it was $39,000. He was I think it cost him 14,000 to fix the boat, uh, something like that. But anyway, that was the deduction of the 50,000, so he paid me 39. But anyway, that's when I sold the Captain Rabbit, and that's going to be another story there. But that's when all that happened to old Romeo. He was a good friend of ours. I haven't seen Romeo in a long time. I don't know if he's still alive or not, but I always think about that guy. Well, we went through a lot of stories there, the T-heads. So I hope y'all enjoyed it. Good morning.